Inflation, your savings' biggest enemy, and here's how to beat it. Meet Sharma ji. He loves his morning walks and never forgets to drink his favorite masala chai at the street corner. He's been drinking chai at the same chaiwala since 1980. No wonder he proudly regales stories of how the tea was sold at just ₹2 when he first started drinking tea at the shop. Of course, how over the years the price of chai has risen and the cup has shrunk, thanks to inflation. So, what is inflation? Inflation, in simple words, refers to the rise in the price of product and services over time. It affects every aspect of life: food, clothing, education, homes, travel, healthcare, gadgets, etc. For instance, if your monthly expense for groceries, maintenance bills and leisure is about ₹30,000 in 2020, it won't be enough to meet the expenses 5 years from now. So, if we assume a 7% rate of inflation, you will need about ₹42,000 in 2025, ₹59,000 in 2030 and ₹1,16,000 in 2040. But before you brush this aside with the simple logic that prices tend to rise over time, consider this. Is your income increasing at the same rate, if not faster? Yes? No? Sometimes? If your answer is a no or sometimes, then unlike Sharma ji, you won't be able to indulge in your favorites the same way. You will soon be faced with serious questions. What will I have to give up to prevent going into debt? How will rising costs change my lifestyle? And if these issues occur while you still have a job, can you even imagine the struggle after you retire, especially if you rely solely on what you save? Inflation can be your savings' biggest enemy, but it doesn't need to. Be like Sharma ji, who managed inflation by choosing investment solutions that potentially offered higher returns. He wasn't a financial wizard. He didn't do any investment mumbo-jumbo. All it took was a little planning and some discipline. He invested a small amount every month throughout his career in investment options that returned more than the rate of inflation. Some SIPs in mutual fund schemes, asset allocation moves, and voila! You, like Sharma ji, can enjoy your chai throughout your life. You may consult your investment advisor to make sure your investments grow faster than the rate of inflation. An investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Hello and welcome to the Hyderabad semi-finals of Business Line Boardroom Challenge 2023. I am Srimati Sridharan. Business Line Boardroom Challenge, a unique competition for B-Schoolers, has 3 levels: a preliminary round, a semi-final across 8 cities and a grand finale. The online tests in the prelims tested students' decision-making skills and ability to work in teams. In the semi-finals, the students got the chance to meet and compete with the best minds from top B schools across the country and present their strategies. And in finals, students will showcase their skills by solving a live corporate case. Now without further ado, let's jump right into it. I now request Mr. Vinay Kamath from Business Line to take over.
Welcome all to the BL Boardroom Challenge 2023. I am Vinay Kamath of Business Line. This unique case challenge for B-Schoolers is in its 7th year. In the first year of the challenge, in 2017, Liba Chennai was the winner, followed by ISB Hyderabad in 2018 and IIM Ranchi in 2019. SIBM Pune won the contest in 2020, while IIM Shillong won in 2021 and SPJMR in 2022. Till the 2019 edition, the semi-final rounds of the contest were held across 8 cities at B schools which hosted the event. The preliminary round has always been online, where students are administered a psychometric test to assess the decision-making skills and ability to work in teams. The grand finale, where B schools which won city-specific semi-finals competed for the grand prize, had in earlier years been held in Chennai. From the year 2020, keeping in mind the safety of the students and others involved in this contest during the pandemic, it has been conducted entirely online, including the semi-final rounds and the finals as well. This year too, we are conducting the event online, given its efficacy as a convenient medium where students don't need to spend time traveling to various destinations. The semi-finals case will test the participating teams on the knowledge of finance, marketing and strategy and decision-making skills and ability to work in teams. The BL Boardroom Challenge is a unique event which has become part of the calendar of contests for B schools. May the best team win the 2023 BL Boardroom Challenge. All the best.
To outline the case for the semi-finals, each of the teams had to take on a role of a consulting company that has a huge knowledge in the EV area. The task for the planning team is to make a 5-year business plan for a newly established company. This company, named Green Mobility India, is a subsidiary of a renewable energy giant. The participant have to facilitate its entry into the electronic vehicles market. They would need to present the dynamics and therefore qualitative and quantitative inputs if green energy can proceed in the EV space or not. The business plan if it feels the company should enter the field. Real impact of the EVs on the environment considering cradle to grave impact compared to ICE and hybrid. Understanding consumer preferences and secondary sources and projecting the market scenario for 5 years. Projected progress of charging infrastructure and its impact on penetration of EVs. Each team will get 15 minutes to present their case and will be followed by 5 minutes of questions and answers. The team will be marked for 50 points by each jury member. The team with the highest total wins. Here is the breakup. Understanding of case points 10. Case analysis 15. Solution 10. Presentation 10. Teamwork 5. Now it's over to the teams presenting today.
Very good morning to all the panelists and to my fellow participants here. Before beginning the case study, we would like to give you a very quick overview and a glance as to what the case study speaks about. Basically, it is about Green Mobility India Private Limited, which is looking to enter into the EV segment in India. The main factors which are taking into consideration is first the go and the no go into the EV segment. The feasibility is very crucial before taking a decision. Second is environment. However, taking into consideration that the emissions from the tailpipe is almost negligent in terms of EV, it's a win-win. Charging stations and the infrastructure in India is going to be a key challenge for India in today's time, looking at the market of the India for EV. Consumer preference, of course, the market and the changing dynamics and the infrastructure of India has to be taken into consideration before taking any final choice. However, government plans are looking promising for Indian EV market. There are still partnerships and charging and battery advancement that need to be a key factor in playing a decision of it, entering into the market. The business plan is made for 5 years, considering the factors of marketing, financial, of course, the manufacturing has to be done on our own or imported, since some products in the battery or the lithium, for example, has to be imported and not yet being completely manufactured in India. Moving forward, let's start with the hybrid EV and conventional. What are the pros and cons that we are going to look forward? Of course, conventional or the traditional market in India is having a key dominance here. The electric market is, supposing the pros would be, of course, zero emissions and zero noise, environmental friendly, tax benefits. Speaking about tax benefits, we can look here that in India, cars are seen as aspirations and no longer it's like a necessity. Therefore, there were no tax exemption as such given to the conventional cars. However, looking at the global pollution of India, there have been a recent addition of tax redemption in the scheme, which says that, if you're buying it for the first time, the EV electric, you will get a tax redemption of rupees 1.5 lakh, which is also a great initiative started by government. Also solving fuel challenge and government policies, which is FAME 2, which also has FAME 1 as the back end, which is looking after nothing but the advance and the faster manufacture of your hybrid and EV. uh, EV vehicles. Talking about the cons here, there is a high upfront cost for the manufacturers as well, and also for the people who are going to, or the consumers who are going to buy it for the first time. Electricity and charging infrastructure still remains a key choice, because speaking about electricity, there is approximately 79 million electric vehicles will be on the road, which is estimated by 2030, for which we would be requiring approximately 8 millions of public charging station. Considering that for one, for average, if average 15 units of electricity is required to charge one EV, and the price would be somewhere around 75 rupees. And considering the battery size that we are using is 30 kilowatt, so it still remains a challenge for us. Talking about mining raw materials for battery, will remain, as of now, it would not be a mature market for India. Speaking about that, we still import the lithium from Australia as of now, but luckily we have been able to found somewhere around 5.9 million tons of lithium in India, in Jammu and Kashmir, which has given a hope for India to manufacture its own lithium in the coming years for a mature market, and we can look up of it. Speaking about hybrid, the upfront low cost for manufacture is the pros. Hassle-free long distance because of no charging required except for the plug-in model if we use it. Gas mileage and fuel efficient. The pros would be, sorry, the cons would be the tailpipe emissions, of course, lower than the conventional, but it would be still there. High maintenance cost, and mining raw material would be again a slight challenge for it if you're using for the batteries. The conventional, of course, it's been long in the market and the budget, and it is supportive of Indian infra, but not very environmental friendly looking at the long term emission. So talking about the emission, just a few figures. As to the conventional car will emit 51.6 pounds for every 100 mile, which is approximately 161 kgs, and the hybrid would emit 74.9 pounds, which is 34 kilometers, which is very, very less. Um, Going towards the charging station, it is just a number that was been approximated in from the given estimation that the government is also projecting over a period. Talking about the current scenario of the EV market, we can see that the yeah. So the total market for the EV is 48,000 units, which were the sales for the quarter two. And the total, of course, the market dominant and the market leader is Tata Motors with 34 units, and the rest followed by MG and Cetron, BYD, Hyundai, followed by next. Also, if you see the next graph, which is the Indian OEMs and lead by the EV market, these are the five top models which are being sold highest. If you notice and if you get a glimpse that they are all in the smaller segment cars, basically not the SUVs, because our EV model is something which is not able to pull up in the SUV segment. So that is something which is an untapped market for Indian overall market in the EV, which could be looked after in future. Talking about the scenario for hybrid market, again, the hybrid market are surpassing the electric vehicles. Looking at the total dynamics of cost structure, the average income of Indian household approximately 50,000 per month, which could be looking at the choice for hybrid and not exactly for EV in today's state. And the sales, the market leader will be Toyota in this case. Now, handing over the target market, I'll request Divya to take it ahead. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, everyone. I hope I am audible. Now, let's understand the target market for hybrid, because as of now, we are planning to enter into the market with hybrid for about 3 years and then later take up with EV market. So, here are the psychographic and the geographic factors which we'll be considering for our target markets. Uh, s- Taking a look at the long run, we can see that we have eco conscious customers because we will be eventually also entering into the EV market. So we have taken into consideration that and entering and targeting our eco conscious customers. Next, we have urban dwellers, adventure enthusiasts, and family oriented individuals. Because we will be targeting, we are entering into the hybrid market first, and we can see that the leaders in the hybrid market are mainly the SUV cars. So here comes the family oriented. Hello.
Carry on, carry on.
Yeah. So here are the family-oriented individuals. The benefit for them that we are entering with a hybrid market first, and in the hybrid market we are mainly focusing on seven-seater and five-seater SUV cars, compact and SUV cars. And next comes the adventure enthusiast who can travel for long distances on the rough terrains and also on the hilly regions with their hybrid cars. And urban dwellers, because we are focusing on urban dwellers because ultimately when we come up with EV market, we can see that with the given infrastructure development, it will be mainly focusing on the tier 1 cities and which are the metropolitan cities. So the primary focus now is the urban dwellers. However, we can also enter into the tier 2 cities later on after 5 years if the infrastructure supports us. Next, coming to the main projected 5-year plan for Indian market. Here, as I said earlier, and as we are going to suggest you all that we will be entering with pure hybrid cars for the first 3 years, that is 24 to 26. And the car sales here in the first year will be around 15,000, including both five-seater and seven-seater hybrid cars. So this number is because we have also studied our competitors, and they have roughly sold about 4,000 hybrid cars in the first quarter. So going on par or being a little less on that, we have estimated about 15,000 car sales in the first year, and thereby increasing it by 30% every year. We are increasing it about 30% every year because we know that there is going to be a consumer preference for SUV cars. And because, as Chinmay said earlier, that car is no longer a necessity but an aspiration, and everyone wants to shift to higher models year on year. Because once you start driving a higher model, you are not going to come back to a lower model for sure. And that is why we are justifying it that the car sales will increase by 30% year on year. When it comes to revenue, we have when it comes to revenue, we have included it for both five-seater and seven-seater car, with five-seater car being priced about 10 to 12 lakhs and seven-seater car ranging from 30 to 40 lakhs, and averaged it out to about 36 lakhs. And that is why we have the revenue here projected. And where is the cursor? Yeah. Coming to the cumulative revenue, and in the next 2 years, we will be having both hybrid as well as EV cars. So here are the cumulated revenue figures and the cost structure here, all the figures being in crores. And so the cost here includes our manufacturing cost and the plant setting up, which Fiza will definitely explain in the coming few slides. And the cost here also includes the uh, body parts, the infrastructure, and all of that. Yeah. Next, Fiza will continue.
Good morning, sir. Sir, in the year 2027, we are also shifting towards the EV because we know that the hybrid market is, we had to incur a huge maintenance cost in the hybrid market. It is not as much eco-friendly as the EV market is. At the starting, we did not enter with the EV market because we want to cater a certain market share. Moreover, talking about the EV market, India is not mature enough that we quickly adapt to certain changes. Moreover, we do not have the certain infrastructure in India. Then we do not have the charging stations. But after 3 years, we are expecting that we will have a certain charging stations, and our mindset in India would be quite good enough that then we can enter into the EV market. In the talking about in 27th, we are our hybrid market sales are increasing by 10% because we are trying to enter into the EV market. Talking about the cost structures, the if you see this cost structure into 26 and 27, there is a huge spike in the cost structure. It is due to because we are entering into EV market, and then we had to incur a huge amount of the cost, whether in the salaries, which is training the certain people, and marketing because we are entering into a new area. We had to market our product, R&D. And we had incurred a huge cost in the R&D in the 26 and in the 27 because we are launching a new product which would have a certain huge power battery than our competitors, which would be a great advantage to enter into. In the 28,
we are expecting our products to be increased by the 30%, and we are taking into account that the inflation would be around 5%, so we have increased our cost by the 5%. Coming to the sold figures, how much goods we have sold in the 24, we have sold around 15,000 units, because our competitors like the Tata, MG, they are selling around 45,000 units per quarter. So we are entering into a market with a less amount of units so that we can get an idea how the environment is working. So first of all, we are 24, we are entering into market with 15,000 units. In 25, we are increasing our units by the 30%, because if you have seen that the Tata, MG, their units are also increased by the 30%. That's why we are increasing our units by the 30%. In 26 to 27, we are increasing our hybrid units by 10% only, because we are trying to enter into the EV market. In EV markets, we are entering the units with the 15,000. After that, we are also increasing the EV market units by the 30%. Coming to the NPV and IRR. So we are starting our project with the 5,000 crore investment. This amount would not be already given by us. This amount would be taken in form of the debentures, because we know would be the amount we would be a profitable enough, as we have seen earlier, so that we can give our interest amount. I think it would be better option to enter into debt market than with the equity. After the first years, we are having a profit of 760, then we have 148. You see, every year our profit are increasing near about 20%. So coming to the second column, which is 70, we have discounted. The discount rate we have taken into the consideration is 7.15, which is your risk-free rate. The current risk-free rate of the November is 7.15. So we have discount our inflows into this account. So we have calculated NPV. NPV is basically your inflows minus outflow. It is basically how much return you are getting. And we are getting in the project a huge amount of return. Talking about IRR, the IRR is 15%. So if you take into consideration the idle IRR is also around 15 to 20%. So we are getting a huge amount of investment or the return in our project. So it would be a good to enter into this project. Talking about the recommendations. So we have started with the hybrid market, because we want to understand the customer preferences. We want to gain a certain market share, which is around 5%. After that, we are shifting towards the EV market, combination of the EV and the hybrid market. So EV market, we are entering into market with competitive prices, but the main factor would be we have a high power batteries, which are not provided by our competitors. It would be providing a greater edge in this. So coming to the hybrid market, in the hybrid we are entering into ethanol bladed petrol and the biodiesel instead of petrol and diesel, which are more eco-friendly. These two markets are this untapped market, which our competitors are not focusing on. So we are trying to provide this type of the market. So we are expecting that we will be a market leader in the 5 years, because we are expecting a growth of around 30% every year, which also Tata and MG products are expecting. So coming to the end, so EV market is still growing in the phase, and we are expecting that it would be an eco-friendly market. It has a huge potential to grow. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, guys, and very well prepared and good presented by all of you. I have few queries. One is, this look little quite optimistic that you are making profits from year one and keep on accumulating profits throughout. Although it's a new venture for your organization, and especially mostly untested market, which is ruled by the giants as of now. So I would like to also understand how your initial investment is broken up in various heads. because I'm still not convinced about the year-on-year profit making with a sector which is so cost sensitive. Reducing cars in India or anywhere else in the world is not because there the profit making comes later. So I would like to understand how your budget's been allocated in various heads. That is number one. And second, how would you differentiate how you plan? So you have segregated or you have identified your segments like urban, adventure, and family. So how are you, planning to, cater to these different segments? That too with the startup or that too with the initial stage, that too, in a hybrid which is untested and very less variants as of now. So that is again a cost, aspect of any project of this kind. I would like to understand how, what are the differentiators? How would you cater to these three categories, which is your target audience? And third is that although you have planned, the transition from hybrid to EV over a period of 5 years, so third year onwards, when you are expected to invest huge in the R&D and other stuff. So how that is not hampering your profits? In fact, from third year onwards, because you're entering into a different or you are starting a parallel production of EVs. So that's again my curiosity to know from you.
So, sir, as we can see that during the first year, we are coming up with both five-seater and seven-seater hybrid cars, and we have priced them so competitively, despite having incurring our cost of around 5,000 crores in the initial phase. We are not taking into consideration while calculating the profit and loss, because that will be shifting into our balance sheet. And while calculating our NPV and IRR, we have already shown you that it'll be a minus figure of 5,000 crores. So while calculating the profit and loss, we have taken into consideration costs such as R&D cost, which is definitely going to be high, and we are also increasing it year on year because we are going to eventually enter into EV market as well. So as you notice that in the fourth year when we had our EV, the profit percentage decreased by about some basis points because we invested a lot in our R&D the previous years. So that was not a gradual increase, but there was a slight drop in the profit in the fourth year when we had our EV cars introduced. And uh,
So just a suggestion, would you like to see the detailed Excel sheet working which we have made? So we
Yes.
you.
yeah, so here since we have taken a debenture of 5,000 crore, we are also going to pay interest on it. And we have taken about 10% of year on year interest, which we have highlighted here of about 500 crore. And yeah, 500 crore. And next we will also invest about increasingly or on par the capital investment every year apart from our initial investment for showroom maintenance and all. And next we have salaries and electricity expenses, general administration cost, and these are the and marketing cost, which we have increased year on year because we will also be marketing in newspapers and magazines. What else, Chinmay?
So it's basic. So basically, we are going to market in 9 cities as of now, which are from the 9 basic cities that we have targeted, generally the metropolitan areas. Also, looking at the hybrid market, answering your second question at about the target markets, we could see that there are not, as you correctly mentioned, that there are not many variations as in the market entering as of now. Looking and speaking of EV specifically, which we are going to enter into 3 years over a 3 years period, the eco-conscious consumers which are trying to switch to hybrid as well, awareness in terms of awareness, but not actually are able to buy the electric vehicle because of charging infrastructure, the average consumption pattern, or the average income salary of an Indian consumer. Therefore, we are going to keep that in mind, looking at the long-term projection, conscious consumer. Now, if you see at the second slide, where the current EV market does not have a SUV pattern, because they do have, as of now, maybe they are doing the R&D and research as to coming up with a new battery which can pull up a longer, basically a longer space vehicles. We are going to tap those market in the future by entering into the EV segment. Talking about the hybrid sector, as Divya also said, that Indian consumers are looking at aspirations over it over a period of time. So nobody is going to take a um commercial car in a comet size if they already have a mid-size SUV, for example. So that is how we are going to target them. Overall, the automobile industry is at a growth rate. Looking at hybrid, it's going to grow at a 10% of increase. So therefore, adventures, because EV is not currently hiring the hilly region section in the areas. I hope that answers one part of your question.
Okay, and this is again, you are allocating 5,000 from day one, right? Buying these debentures and then arrived on these calculations, correct?
Yes, sir.
So ultimately, this interest income is contributing towards your profit.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So you need to allocate the entire budget in the beginning itself. Okay. All right. Thank you. So over to you, sir.
Yeah. SK, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I kind of joined in late, so maybe I would have missed out a couple of things. The only because I'm not going to really get into the numbers right now because they understand the whole entire thing completely. But I have few questions or suggestions also. You are as a consultant who has been appointed to an organization to recommend whether we need to go on for this thing, right? What do you think is expected from the board? The board expects you to make a presentation not just on the market study, but also to tell them that the numbers, right? Now, the presentation should have your P&L. It is not that somebody would ask you a P&L and then say, okay, I'll show you my Excel. You get my point. So you would have worked multiple things in Excel. You might have put multiple numbers. Now, presuming there's an error in your Excel, it's easy for me to find out that error and point it out. But the final number is going to be in your Excel. Please ensure that is taken care of. One of the things which I noticed is that you talked about 3 segments of vehicles, right? Do you think it is worth launching 3 segments at the same time, just like what Mr. Laith is asking? You're a startup. Do you really want to get into 3 segments at the same time? What is the logic of the 3 segments? Have you made a study and to understand that how it will work out?
So we are not, we are coming up with only two models as of in the market with the hybrid one.
Okay.
So it is going to be in the age group of 25 to 50 years of the age category that we are going to target. And as I rightly said, from 15 rupees 50,000 a month average income of an Indian consumer, that is what we are going to target when we are looking at that. Because hybrid car are not like as of now they are here, which could be also traveling for a long distance, but not the engine which is required, the energy which is required to pull up in a hilly region is always generate the according to the research is based on the regenerative braking, but that is not always possible in an hilly region. So we are going to come up with more innovations and R&D which are we going to incur in that. So that is how we have targeted, and we are not going to come with more than 2 models for the next 3 to 4 years.
Okay. And you also spoke about showrooms. You want to have your own showrooms, your own dealerships, or you're trying up with dealerships?
You want to answer that, Divya?
We will be having, we will tie up with our dealers because we don't want to incur our transportation cost on, sending vehicles from one place where we are assembling it. And and that is why we'll be having dealers, tied up with dealers for the showrooms in
Okay.
9 cities.
Just one.
However,
Sorry,
yes.
go on.
However, the marketing cost would be taken care of us, and production, of course, manufacturing is going to be taken care by us. But the dealership, as rightly said by Divya.
How many dealers do you think you're going to have per metro?
So that is something that we have not thought. We'll get back.
Okay, the reason why I asked you is simple question is how many Nexa showrooms have you seen ever, wherever you are? Right. Based on that, then your calculation of how many vehicles you can manufacture, how many can be sold, what is the market availability, right? And what is your plan for charging stations?
So, just a minute to answer your previous question. When we searched about the showrooms, we could notice that Tata showrooms or any other showrooms, they have about 15 to 25 showrooms in Hyderabad, and there are
Okay.
other companies which have about 5 to 6 showrooms in tier two cities like Surat or Ahmedabad, where people are not buying much cars because the psychology or the mentality of people there is not spending much of money in high end priced cars. So that is what we searched about.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, but you have still not decided how many dealers you're going to have in metro cities because you're launching metro, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you thought about charging stations?
The talking about the, because we know that the India presently have 9,000 around charging stations. So that's why we are entering into EV market, because we don't have to charge. Don't have a charging infrastructure
Hybrid
problem
market, right?
in hybrid market. But after 3 years, we are expecting that the charging stations growth would be around 15%. Would be a grow with a certain amount that it will not at charging stations not only cater the metropolitan cities, it would be also in different locations. So that's why after 3 years we are entering into EV market. So there would be a certain no at any infrastructure problem.
Also, sir, adding to what Fiza said, that as of now, we are not planning to open up or cater our own charging stations. We are going to, as of now, rely on the government planning or estimations that they are going to plan.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you. As I told you, since I joined in between, I'm not very thing, but Vinay, please go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a good point that you make, that you're not going to invest in charging stations because things are changing so rapidly that investing in that may, for a young and new company, may not be a viable proposition. So I guess you're looking at depending on public infrastructure or what the oil marketing companies are doing, and maybe all the biggies like Tata Motors and M&M will probably put up charging infrastructure. Okay, that's a big impediment for EVs. So you kept saying that you look at hybrids for the first 2 years, and then first 2 or 3 years, then move into EVs. So what kind of hybrids do you contemplate? The various versions of hybrid, plug-in hybrid, fully hybrid. So what kind of hybrids is your recommendation?
So we are definitely going to go with the mild hybrid and the strong hybrids, but not with the plug-in hybrids, because we'll come down to the square one in itself, which is again the challenge for the charging stations. So of course, eliminating that, we are going to go with the two options: the seven-seater, five-seaters, with one with the strong model and the other one with the mild hybrid model, which has of course the regenerative braking into it. But according to the research, we can also invest in the hydrogen fuel cell kind of a models in future, looking at the market and our spending capacity and the overall market basically.
To add on to Chinmay's point, in the G20 session, we also heard that there is going to be a lot of investments in the biofuels, which includes biodiesel, and hence we are initially coming up with hybrid cars and giving a lot on our R&D to search or to look into other options, if other than EV also, which is even more sustainable. Because looking at the long run, I don't think EV is also going to be very much sustainable uh, because of the electronic waste disposals of the batteries which we set up into the EV cars. And if we are also coming up with with high power of EV cars, that will also be a little challenge. And we will have to also, the current market players are also trying to set up their own disposable own recycling of battery plants. So in the long run, if we are going with EV, we will also have to incur cost on that, because we cannot solely rely on just disposing the batteries like that. So we are also looking on the biofuels aspect as well.
Okay. So your projected first year sale of 15,000 cars, is it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought that's a bit ambitious considering that you're going to be a new company in the EV space and already there are a lot of entrenched um companies already there. And given the current state, most households in urban India will probably consider it only as a second car, not as a. The first time user, I think, will not be really coming to a EV vehicle, given the fact that distance and charging, there are all doubts about that. So I thought that the 15,000 would be a bit ambitious. But anyway, that is your projection, right? Yeah.
Sir,
Otherwise, yeah. Then
I just wanted to add one thing, that we have already assumed that we have a good presence in international market, and we are entering into the Indian market for the first time. So having a brand image internationally, we have come up with such figure of 15,000 because we have studied our competitors like MG, which initially came up with, which could sell around 50,000 cars in the first half year from June 2019 to the December, and the next year and the next and a half year or so they have reached, or they have crossed a milestone of about 1 lakh car plus sales. So looking into that, having a good presence internationally, we came up with such figure of selling 15,000 cars annually in the first year.
Uh, Great. See, you are mentioning that you assume that you have a good presence in international market, right? Let us presume that we do not have any presence. What would be the number then?
Then the number would definitely decrease
Two, by
to
percentage.
selling.
Don't have to give me the exact number. Just percentage, rough percentage.
Yeah,
5,000 and so.
Okay. Right.
no, you're presuming that your company Green Mobility is present in the international market in clean
Right.
energy, not in vehicles, right? Because the case recommends asks you to give
Specifically.
give a plan for entering into EVs. So you're presuming an international presence in clean energy solution, not in electric vehicles, right? The company is not in electric vehicles as of now. So what
Yes,
is the
sir.
international presence you're talking about?
So actually, the assumption was made because in the case it mentioned that they have done enough research and resources available for EV. However, there's a line which says or look at hybrids or hybrid EV combinations, and therefore we made that assumption. It's in the very first page itself, which led us to make this assumption.
Okay. Though as per the case, there you're a consultant who's recommending the pathway for green mobility, which is a clean tech major to get into EVs. So they're not into EVs as yet. So actually, you need to make sure that you get all the facts of the case correct before you make any presumptions. Right. Otherwise, good job. You've done a lot of work and um really troll the the Excel sheets and come up with your solutions. Good. Uh, right. So, are you first year MBA students or second year?
Second
second
year,
year.
sir.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. So, what sectors do you want to work in?
Sir, I want to work in the valuation sector, and I have also been placed in a valuation company. So I think it's a good start for me.
Oh, excellent. And what
Sir, I
about
have
you?
been placed in Genpact, so I am working in an IT company.
Oh, and
Sir,
you?
I have been placed for
Placed in
SAP, sir.
SAP. Okay.
SAP,
Right.
yes.
Okay. Good. All the best to all of you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you so
Thank
much,
you
sir.
so much.
Thank you. All the best, guys.
All the best.
Thank you
Good
so
job.
Thank you
much,
so
sir,
much,
for your
sir.
time.
We now have a special education AV from Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund.
Life is like cricket. When you get thrown a googly, how you bat is the difference between hitting a six and getting out. A simple example of a googly in life is your laptop crashing while you're working on an important business presentation. If you're smart and prepared, you should have your files backed up on the cloud and should recover from this loss quickly. If you are not prepared, you will have lost years of work. A complicated googly is the 2020 pandemic that shut the world down and disrupted businesses and economies globally. If you already had an online business module or quickly added one, you continued to work like normal. If you didn't, you probably struggled. As organizations, as employees, we try to plan for unexpected situations that could disrupt work. But as an individual, are you prepared to handle googlies like a medical emergency, a natural disaster, a recession, or another pandemic without draining your savings and generating a mountain of debt? If your answer is no, then it is time to set up a contingency fund that can handle life's googlies. What is a contingency fund? Like the name suggests, it is a fund that may help you survive in an emergency. A contingency fund may give you breathing room if your salary isn't paid or if you lose your job. You may not be stumped on how to pay your child's school fees, utility bill and EMI, or worse, if you can put food on the table. How does a contingency fund help in these situations? Well, a good contingency fund is seeded with 6 to 9 months' salary. Do not panic. Yes, that's a lot of money. But you don't need to have it today. You will accumulate it slowly over time. All you have to do is stay committed and only use the fund for true emergencies. This means no spending it to upgrade your phone when it still works or using it to fund that spontaneous friend's trip. How to create a contingency fund? Think of a contingency fund as a systematic investment for unexpected situations. Step 1. Set up a contingency fund account. It can be a savings account, a liquid fund account, or any other type. Just make sure it is relatively safe, easy to access, and separate from your regular savings account. After all, you don't want to spend it accidentally. Step 2. Set achievable targets. When you are playing a match, you don't reach 400 runs on the first ball or even the first over. You keep your team motivated by setting smaller targets that will help you achieve the desired outcome. Similarly, set yourself smaller targets. Once you reach it, raise the bar higher until you have collected at least 6 months' salary. Step 3. Make your contingency fund a part of your financial plan. Analyze your existing income and expenses and find areas which can be tightened to give you a winning outcome. This should ensure you aren't struggling or forgetting to meet your targets every month. Step 4. Set up an automatic systematic contingency fund process. Start an auto debit to transfer your budgeted amount into your contingency fund account. Remember to increase the amount as your salary and expenses grow. Step 5. Replenish your systematic contingency fund. Every time you dip into your contingency fund, make sure you replenish it. This will ensure you are financially prepared to take on the next emergency, if any. Follow these steps with an aim to build a fund that could sustain your quality of life during an emergency. Start today and aim to be prepared to manage any googly that life may bring. An investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jagatsa. Let me start the presentation. The case is regarding whether Green Mobility India can enter electric vehicle segment in India or not. I am here with my teammate Vaishnavi. Coming to the situation analysis, the company is established to launch electric vehicles in India. It was owned by a subsidiary. It was an owned subsidiary of an renewable energy giant. The core team worked a lot to make some research, and they made a report whether they can implement the electric vehicles in India or not. But the board was not satisfied, and they recommended to consult a good consulting firm because the data they assumed was based on abroad, and they were doubting whether it would help penetrate in India or not. And Also, there is competition from already existing automobile manufacturers and also from the new entrants. This is the situation. And coming to the major issues, what are the major issues are lack of infrastructure. There are only 9,000 charging stations and there is limited space to set up new public charging stations. And moreover, the cost of electric vehicles is much higher compared to hybrid vehicles or regular conventional vehicles. And right now, government is providing subsidies for purchase of electric vehicles, but we don't know until what period of time this will continue. And if government suddenly stops providing subsidies, there might be a reduction in the sales. And coming to consumer preferences, consumer preferences changes over time. So, and also the technology is changing fast. So they might be much interested in new vehicles, and there might be chances that we may not be going in track with the technology. And there are also other alternative energy sources such as green power, and these were also considered. That's the problem. And coming to the current electric vehicle market analysis, electric vehicles account around 1.5% of automobile industry in the year 2022, and around 10 lakh vehicles, 10 lakh electric vehicles were sold in the year 2022, among which only 6% passenger vehicles were there, and remaining 57% are two-wheeler vehicles and 37% three-wheeler vehicles. And it is expecting that around 20 million electric vehicles will be sold for the year 2030. And coming to public charging stations, there were only 9,000 standard public charging stations, which is one of the key constraint. And the major issue is to set up more charging stations, there is limited space. And the time for charging an electric vehicle is also more. And we are expecting that the predicted CAGR is around 9%, which was a good number. And if this continue, then the market will be around like 6.5 million vehicles by 2030. And it is estimated that around 65 lakh vehicles are to be sold in 2030, and in among which and electric vehicles, and which contribute around 22% of passenger vehicles. And also it is estimated that 1.32 million public charging stations will be set up by 2030. And which means that we were going to add we need to add 4 lakh charging stations every year. And from here, my teammate Vaishnavi will continue.
Hello, sir. The available solutions are the electric vehicles and the hybrid vehicles. The electric vehicles are powered solely by electric motors by offering low emissions. However, the initial cost is high, which is around 20 lakhs, but there are potential government subsidies for it. And the weight is also heavy due to the weight of the battery pack. And also there are limited charging stations in India, which is around 9,000, as we have discussed in the earlier slides. Coming to the hybrid vehicles, it is the combination of electric motors and internal combustion engines for enhanced power and fuel efficiencies. And the price range of the hybrid vehicles is compared to the conventional vehicles, and it also has a smaller fuel efficient petrol engines, and generative braking eliminates the need for plugins. We have conducted a SWOT analysis for this EV vehicles. The strengths are it has backed by a renewable energy giant, which is ensuring financial stability and also environmental credibility along with the sustainability. And it is also technologically ready, providing a competitive edge, and also it is providing room for innovation. And coming to the weakness, limited automotive sector experience may pose challenges, and the fast changing EV technologies will require continuous adaptation to the changing market trends. And the opportunities are like the growing EV market has government support and also subsidies, which is creating a favorable environment. Increasing the environmental awareness and potential for innovation are also key drivers for the EVs. The intense competition in the market poses a challenge, which is a threat to the EVs. Regulatory changes demand constant adaptation, and also there might be skepticism among the consumers, and also there might be technological disruptions which are creating hurdles for the EVs. Coming to the marketing mix, we'll discuss the 4 P's of the EVs. The product offers a range of electric vehicles, including the two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and also passenger vehicles. The price, it is offering a competitive pricing, and it is considering the ownership costs, subsidies, and also the market demand. The promotion, we are adopting a comprehensive strategy for awareness, digital media, and also partnerships, and also by conducting various events to enter into the market. The place, there is strategic distribution, and also we are collaborating for charging infrastructure. Coming to the pestle analysis, considering the political factors, we are considering the government subsidies and also road tax exemptions, which are favoring electric vehicles. By examining the economic conditions, like global economic fluctuations affects the EV demand and also its cost of ownership. Addressing the social aspects such as consumer preferences, especially the young generations are inclining towards the electric cars for environmental reasons. And we are evaluating the technological factors like advancements in battery technology. It is impacting charging times and also the energy efficiency. Highlighting the environmental aspects such as there is reduced carbon emissions and noise pollution. It is aligning with the eco-friendly trends. The legal implications includes warranty terms, charging station ownerships, and also there is potential for regulatory changes affecting the industry. After evaluating all the above points and analyzing various situations, we are recommending a strategic combination of electric and hybrid vehicles. We are proposing continuous government subsidies for the next 5 years to incentivize the electric vehicle adoption. Emphasizing the cost and revenue analysis for setting up charging stations, which indicates a profitable venture. We can suggest initial market penetration with hybrid vehicles, which will gradually transition to the complete electric vehicles. Highlighting the advantage of the company's readiness to adapting the market trends and technologies. Now, Jagatsa will take over.
Coming to the environmental impact, electric vehicles have higher manufacturing environmental impact due to they need extra battery protection, and also the recycling and all, they require a lot of advancement. Whereas conventional vehicles, they have lower manufacturing environmental impact compared to electric vehicles. And also, but there is an advantage in electric vehicles. They produce zero tailpipe emissions, and hereby thereby they will reduce the air pollution and also greenhouse gas emission, which will help improve the environmental condition and also improve the health conditions. And coming to batteries in electric vehicles, they can be repurposed for energy storage, and also they can be recycled. So they are reducing the environmental impact. Whereas coming to normal conventional engines, they have like the disposal of the engine materials, hazardous materials and all, they possess some environmental risk. This is the environmental impact of implementing electric vehicles. Coming to the business plan, first of all, we are thinking to put some initial investment of like 8,000, and yearly we are thinking the raw material cost and all will cost around 2,000 crores. And we are proposing, as we proposed hybrid and electric vehicles together, we are initially implementing like introducing hybrid vehicles at a larger number compared to electric vehicles because there are limited charging stations, and parallelly we are also investing in charging stations, investing in setup of new charging stations. So in the near future, if we continue to increase the production of electric vehicles, then our sales can be increased, and it is profitable for the company. And here we assume like electric vehicles initially will start in the year one with a, like, we will produce at a 2,500 vehicles per year, and we will gradually increase it to 15,000 vehicles by the end of fifth year. And these are just assumptions, and also we are also producing charging facilities, which we are choosing two options, L3 and L4. These both provide fast charging, which is more needed in the current era. And out of L3 and L4 provides it gives full charge in just 25 minutes. So we are producing a greater number of L4 batteries, but they'll cost slightly more than L3. So people might also be interested in purchasing L3 because even it has a great advantage. It also provides a full charge in just 40 minutes. And coming to here, you can see the total capital investment, and also we are assuming that we are investing in promotions for 3,000 crores, and we are continuing it in each year, and I'm assuming that we will be increasing it by a small margin every year. And this is the expected market share, and we are expecting to reach 22% market share by the year 5. And here you can see the revenue and expenses also, and we are assuming that the payback period will be between 1 to 3 years. And this is the end of the presentation. We are now open for questions.
Yeah.
The first two slides, you are basically presenting the entire case study to us, like what you understood about the case study.
Yes, sir.
You must understand, as a consultant, when the organization is wanting you to suggest, you are actually presenting to the organization. The organization already knows all these things. They have already given you the scenario, right? So you are presenting it back to this thing. You're actually wasting your own time and energy because she could have used for something else. This is just a suggestion. And I appreciate that you use 4 Ps and your pistol, etc. Why do you want to invest on charging stations now? Because there's a possibility these charging stations, facilities which are high technology-wise, it can change over a period of time. Don't you think your investment charging station is going to be, first thing is number one, unwarrantedly you're wasting money. 2, that money could be completely wasted if the entire technology changes tomorrow. Because this is an evolving technology, correct?
Yes, sir.
So if it starts changing tomorrow, what happens to it? What happens to the investment that you've done?
Sir, but without charging stations, I felt there is no point of investing in electric vehicles, manufacture of electric vehicles. And we can manufacture charging stations such that they can also adapt to future 10 years of technology. And
Don't you think it would be advisable for you to sign up with the existing charging stations so that your cost is reduced and that can be used for other purposes, like marketing or setting up a plant or whatever the case may be?
Yes, sir, but whoever purchase passenger vehicles, they will be willing to travel longer distances. So, but limited charging stations might not allow them to travel for longer distances, and they might be afraid that in the nearby distances the charging station might not be there. So, this is also potential threat to reduce the, consumers might not be preferring purchase of electric vehicles. So I felt investing in charging facilities also might help improve the sales of electric vehicles.
Okay, you want to start production of electric vehicles from the very beginning, from the very first year?
No, sir. Actually, initially we will start. We need to set up the plant and all, and it takes a bit of time.
Okay.
And initially we were interested in hybrid vehicles, and slowly we will penetrate electric vehicles because hybrid vehicles are of around equal cost to conventional vehicles. So consumers will be liking them, and also they have better fuel efficiency.
Okay. In
And
your
also
numbers, have you presented what will be the marketing cost?
3,000 crores.
No, have you presented it or?
Yeah, sir. We mentioned it.
Okay, 3,000 crores, you're going to use it for what?
So we can use it for television promotions and uh, like integrated marketing channel, and we can also mm, we can we can give some discounts on
Okay. How is your selling points? Where are your selling points?
uh,
How do you promote your product? Where do you sell it? Where do you, people can go and see the vehicles?
majorly. I would be selling them. I would suggest them to sell them in tier 1 and tier 2 cities.
No, no, with from whom? From
Uh,
your own showroom or with dealers or?
we would be contacting with dealers because
Yeah.
everything can't be done by us. Only production we will be doing, and we'll be linking with other dealers and all.
Okay. Okay, great. And how did you arrive at the number of 10,000 crores for setting up a plant?
Sir, it was just normal estimation based on current market. Like based on our research, we found that cost of setting up a car manufacturing industry is that much. So that's the reason we presented that value.
Okay.
We estimated it to be around that value.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Lalit.
Sure, sir. Thanks a lot, Jagata and your Priya. So that's well presented, and I think you've done the homework well. A few questions, the similar line as Shwethar's asked about the charging station. That is one because in US there's always already a trend has started where battery replacement is already started. You are run out of charge, you just leave your battery there and pick up fully charged battery and put it in your car and go. So it is not like 25-40 minutes wait anymore. So it is already taking place. That change is already introduced. So yes, the technology can disrupt established model, and we have witnessed many. So I think you could have thought about that charging station, this thing, and the network of already set up petrol pumps across country. That can also be converted tomorrow as charging stations as well by the government or these big giants, right?
Yes.
So you could have saved that cost. That is something which I would definitely agree with, sir. On the I could not understand your strategy of reducing starting first of all both the hybrid and EVs together, and then gradually reducing hybrid and increasing EVs. So don't you think that you will be confused, or you will have to spend a lot of resources, a lot of manpower, a lot of R&D into both the productions, because you are showing productions simultaneously from year one. So how will you face that challenge, and what is the strategy of reversing the order?
Sir, right
because
now
by
we
that
can.
time because by that time your vehicles are accepted, because you need time for these auto sector. You need time to create perception or the acceptance in the consumers mind. So by that time you create a perception, because you are also competing with the giants in the industry.
Yes.
So they have legacy of many decades in the market. So you are starting something today. I, as a consumer, buying your product, and by the time 5 years gone, you are reducing their production, and I'll have the assumption that you will be going to stop that production over a period of time. So my purchase goes out of value. So how will you manage that perception?
Uh, yes, sir. But actually, the reason for reducing the hybrid vehicles number gradually is that, sir, mostly the consumer will be thinking of price of the vehicle rather than what environmental impacts it will be. There are limited people who consider the environmental impacts of the things they were doing. I felt that only the younger generations, or not only, mostly the younger generations will be thinking of the environmental impact. So to penetrate initially, the electric vehicles are run much smoothly, and they also reduce the air pollution and noise pollution also. They once they get habituated to electric vehicles, they would be willing to purchase them, like they will be willing to purchase them more in number, and they would be recommending to their friends, and the review will, if the review is good. I thought hybrid vehicles, they run both on petrol and also on electric vehicles, on electricity. So penetrating them first initially will help me penetrate electric vehicles more in number in the near future, is what I felt.
Okay. So, I mean, how will you ensure this transition happens, that people stop your hybrid and then switch to EV? What strategy would you apply, or do you have anything in mind right now?
Actually, we won't be, we can't predict the future after 5 years, because everyone implements a project that it would be surely successful, and we don't know the consumer preferences also. They keep on changing, and the technology keep on changing. Right now, we can make some modifications in the hybrid vehicles. So we can also continue their production, but not as great number as electric vehicles. And also we can expand the plant. So the number of electric vehicles we are producing, we need not completely stop the hybrid vehicles, but reduce their production. So
Okay, so last question is from your business plan. You have mentioned payback period of 2 to 3 years, right?
yes.
So you have mentioned that you have studied auto sector, and you know that what is the kind of money required for setting up a plant like this. Okay. So you have you also studied the usual payback period in these kind of plants or in these kind of investments projects?
No, actually, I didn't study. It was just an estimation that based on the revenue and the cost of investment, I just calculated that.
Okay, because don't you think that 2 to 3 years time of payback is practical in these kind of industry? So that's a food for thought for you. So although thanks a lot for the answers. Over to you, sir.
Vinay?
Yeah. So, Jagat sir and your colleague, very good effort, I thought, in your presentation, and you've uh, probably taken the right tack of maybe going in for hybrids before you make an expensive EV foray. In that investment plan, I don't know whether you got an extra zero, or is that the correct figure? To in the cost you put it as 14,000 crore, or that last slide which you showed was it 1,400 crore?
Is 1,500, sir.
No, down towards the end, first column.
Yes, sir. It was 14,000. Actually, I also included the cost of setting up the plant, so it was comparatively higher.
So it's more than your capital investment at the moment.
Yes, sir. I think in the initial year the expenses will be more, but we don't know. It takes some time to for the production to start and all, and there are major fixed expenses that will be incurred in the first year.
Okay.
That's why the expense is comparatively.
So when have you projected profitability for the project?
Uh,
In which year?
uh, we are assuming that profitability will start after 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Fine. Right. No more questions. Otherwise, very, very good effort. And I think you defended your case also well. Right. Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very
Thank
much.
you. All the best, guys.
All the best.
Thank you
All the
so much.
best to both of you. Yeah.
We now have a special education AV from Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund.
initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Yeah, so wonderful presentations. I think both the teams have done well. Third team got unlucky due to technology issues. So good presentation, good insights, and I think there was a close call again. In this round. So, but on the all the parameters, if we see team one has been well coordinated, well participated by all the team members. At the same time, their presentation and their thoughts and the way they handled all the queries from the jury, and that has also gone well. So today's winner is team one, which is Symbiosis Hyderabad. So wish them all the best for the next round.
We now have a special education AV from Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund.
Nivesh Fables presents Choose Your Advisor Wisely.
There were two rabbits. Willy was the wise one and Fred was not so wise. They were walking through a field and came upon two carrots. Fred excitedly rushed and picked up a carrot, but it was smaller than it looked. He was confused, so Willy said, "Judging a carrot by its leaves is not the right way." After walking for some time, they came across another set of carrots. This time, Willy chose the carrot first. Fred thought, "How come the carrot with smaller leaves is small?" Willy replied, "I do not judge a carrot by its leaves." For the third time, they found two carrots again. Willy pulled out one carrot and offered it to his friend. Fred was still confused and said, "I don't know how you do it, but I guess you're just smarter than me." "Fred, I may have the wisdom, but I share it with others and help them benefit from it too. You're my friend, you trust me, and I want you to have this carrot." In real life, while making investment decisions, don't we all look for an advisor like Willy, who wouldn't just look at the leaves superfluously, but analyze, inspect, understand the investments thoroughly, and suggest the right one for us? Someone who we can trust our hard-earned money with. As they say, if you look for a financial advisor, look for someone with the heart of a teacher and the soul of a friend. Have you found yours? An investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Thank you for watching. This is Business Line Boardroom Challenge 2023.